An American actor named Philip has spent the last 7 years trying his luck in Japan. He was once known as the face of a toothpaste commercial, but that small success was never enough to push his career forward. Now his days are filled with going from one casting call to another, including auditions for the detective role he has always dreamed of. Philip lives alone in a modest apartment, and from his window, all he ever sees are other families living their everyday lives across the street. One morning, Philip gets a call from his manager, Sonia, who tells him about a job offer that pays surprisingly well. What confuses Philip is the fact that his acting skills are not needed in front of a camera. Still, he shows up at the location right away. He arrives late and quickly realizes something is off. The job turns out to be at a funeral home. But the real shock comes when, during the morning, the body suddenly sits up, deeply moved by the condolences being delivered.
手をつないだこと、二人乗りで。ありがとう。
Philip is completely stunned. It turns out the man in the coffin, named Daido, is actually a client of an agency run by someone named Shinji. The entire funeral has been staged at Daido's request. He wants to feel valued, to be reminded that his life truly matters. Even the person offering the heartfelt condolences is part of the act, a talent from Shinji's agency named Aiko. Despite living in Japan for 7 years, Philip has never experienced anything this strange. Naturally, Philip demands to know what Shinji is really doing. Shinji simply hands him a business card and introduces his company, a service called Rental Family. Curious and unsettled, Philip visits the agency's office. Shinji explains that he is looking for foreign talent like Philip, but once Philip realizes the business is built on selling fake relationships and manufactured emotions, he immediately refuses to get involved. That decision does not last long. Shinji brings up Philip's old toothpaste commercial from 7 years ago, reminding him how his career has been stuck ever since. Even Shinji's employee, Kota, admits he was impressed by that old commercial. Faced with the reality of needing steady income, Philip finally gives in and joins the company. Philip's first assignment comes from a woman named Yoshi. She asked the agency to stage a wedding, with Philip playing the role of her groom. The entire setup is meant to make her parents happy. In truth, Yoshi already has a partner and plans to move to Canada, but she knows her family would never accept that relationship. When the wedding day arrives, Yoshi looks perfect. But panic spreads when Aiko, Kota, and Shinji realize Philip is nowhere to be found. He is hiding in the bathroom, overwhelmed by guilt over deceiving Yoshi's parents. Aiko reminds him that if the truth comes out, everyone's lives will fall apart. With no way out, Philip forces himself to step back into his role and go through with the wedding. That night, Philip and Yoshi stay at a hotel, and this is where the truth finally comes out. Yoshi has been hiding a same-sex relationship from her family all along. When her partner arrives, Philip's role for the night officially comes to an end. Later that evening, Philip meets up with Lola, the escort he regularly sees, and talks about this strange new line of work he has just stepped into. The next day, Philip apologizes to Shinji for nearly ruining the job and promises it will not happen again. Almost immediately, he is assigned a new role, this time as a father. Hearing this, Aiko steps in and tries to stop him. The client is a single mother named Hitomi. She needs a father figure for her mixed-race daughter, Mia. Hitomi plans to transfer Mia to an elite private school in Japan, where a parent interview is a key part of the admission process. Since Mia has never met her real father, Hitomi wants Philip to pose as her biological dad, so Mia will truly believe the story. Hitomi does this so Mia will not have to pretend during the interview. That means two sides are being deceived, the school and Mia herself. That night, Philip meets Aiko again and apologizes for almost destroying Yoshi's wedding. He asks why she continues doing this job, and Aiko admits there is a certain satisfaction she can only find through this work. Elsewhere, Shinji arrives home to be greeted by his wife, who tells him their son has lost a soccer match at school. As a devoted father, Shinji takes a moment to encourage his child. The following day, Philip finally meets Mia, and she immediately rejects him, blaming him for abandoning her and her mother. Hitomi reminds her that they need him for the school interview. Philip then apologizes and says he wants to be useful, even if only once as her father. That small moment softens Mia. She asks him to promise he will never leave them again.
But luck is where you never leave us again.
Afterward, Philip calls Shinji, who is busy handling another client who wants to be scolded by their own boss over secret embezzlement. Philip admits that Mia hates him, but instead of listening, Shinji assigns him yet another client. This time, the client is a woman named Masami Hasegawa. Her father, Kikuo Hasegawa, is a former actor who is now old and ill. Masami wants her father to feel remembered and appreciated for his past achievements. Philip's role is to act as a journalist, writing a book about this once legendary actor. Now juggling two clients at once, Philip continues his work. The next day, he is asked to accompany Mia in her classroom while waiting for her transfer to the new school. During class, Mia kindly invites a classmate to work on a recycling project together, since that child's parents are unable to come to school that day. Even though Mia still acts distant, she thanks Philip for staying by her side and hands him her artwork. Back at his apartment, Philip places it by the window, staring at it as if it were truly something made by his own child. Whenever he has free time, Philip takes on short-term jobs at rental family, sometimes doing simple things like keeping someone company while they play games. One day, while spending time with Mia, Philip gets a call from his manager. At last, all his efforts pay off. He finally lands the detective role he has been chasing for years, but by this point, Philip has gone too deep into his current roles. He becomes emotionally invested, even though he knows everything around him is staged. Before long, he slips back into his assignment as a fake journalist. The next day, Mia invites Philip to a local festival. There, she asks about his background and learns that his parents have passed away. Wanting him to feel less alone, Mia gives him her phone number. While at the festival, Mia stops at a fortune teller's booth, and Philip is shocked to discover that the fortune teller is actually Lola, the escort he knows. Thankfully, Lola plays along, helping Philip maintain his role as a father. Later on, Mia calls Philip and says she does not want to change schools because she is afraid of being bullied. Like a real parent, Philip reassures her and strengthens her confidence, reminding her that she can face whatever comes next. Hitomi soon finds out about this conversation. Knowing that Philip is only a pretend father, she forbids Mia from getting too close to him. But Mia pushes back, pointing out that Philip always listens to her, unlike her mother who constantly controls her life. That afternoon, Philip meets with Hitomi to prepare for the upcoming school interview. Hitomi asks him to speak as little as possible and warns him never to call or message Mia again. No matter how things feel, Philip is not her real father. With some time to spare, Philip accompanies Kikuo to a temple. During their visit, Kikuo suddenly talks about returning to his hometown in Amakusa someday, hoping the trip will stay a secret from his daughter. He hints that there is something there she must never know about. Before leaving the temple, Philip wonders what lies inside. Kikuo encourages him to discover it on his own, trusting that he will understand when the time comes. The story shifts to a moment where Aiko is slapped by another woman. It soon becomes clear that this is part of a role she is playing, pretending to be a man's mistress. The entire setup is designed to keep the wife away from the real affair partner, since the husband is still secretly involved with someone else. This kind of job turns out to be one of the most requested services at Rental Family, something Shinji refers to as the apology service. And in roles like this, Aiko often faces harassment and even physical abuse. Back at the office, Shinji tells Philip that once the school interview is over, Hitomi plans to end their contract earlier than expected. She feels that Mia is becoming too emotionally attached to her fake father. Hearing this, Philip cannot help but feel a sense of loss, and it is not just his role as Mia's father that is coming to an end. Around the same time, Kikuo pushes Philip away after Philip refuses to secretly take him back to his hometown. Deep down, Philip knows that everything he has been doing is just another performance, no different from acting in front of a camera. But there is one feeling he has never experienced before. Through these fake roles in real life, he finally understands the pain and bitterness of loss. The day of Mia's school transfer interview arrives. Instead of staying quiet as Hitomi instructed, Philip ends up taking a more active role during the interview. Hitomi reacts with worry and surprise as she realizes there are many things about her own daughter she never truly knew. Things like how caring Mia is toward her classmates, or how talented she is at drawing. By the end of the interview, Philip expresses his hope that the school will support Mia and help guide her in place of her parents. It feels as if he is truly letting go, entrusting her future to someone else.
She needs to dream big, and she needs to be unafraid. Please be there for her.
Once the interview is over, Philip's role as a father officially ends. Hitomi tells him that he should return to America and that no one knows when he might come back to Japan. At their final farewell, Philip feels proud to have had a child like Mia and hopes she stays strong for her mother. Mia clings to him, reluctantly letting go, while Philip quietly feels the same deep pain of separation.
Can we have dinner together?
I have to go back to America. I want you to know how proud I am of you. And I need you to be strong for your mom.
Mommy, she does.
That night, Philip shares his sense of loss with Aiko. In return, Aiko opens up about the violence she has endured through her work. And only then does Philip realize how dangerous some of rental family services truly are. Later that night, Philip removes Mia's artwork from his window. He decides it is time to move on and focus on the work ahead. As a way to ease his loneliness, Philip once again watches the families living across from his apartment. When he notices an elderly man among them, his thoughts suddenly return to Kikuo. Before dawn breaks, Philip slips into Kikuo's house and finally fulfills the old actor's wish to return to his hometown.
From here to looking at happiness, even at 6 o'clock, meeting up on the stone.
Elsewhere, Mia is playing hide-and-seek with her friends. By chance, one of them stumbles upon an old television show starring Philip. This discovery leads Mia to question her mother, and at that moment, all of Hitomi's lies are finally exposed. The story returns to Philip. When he wakes up, Kikuo is nowhere to be found in his bed. It turns out the old actor is outside digging up a time capsule he buried long ago before leaving for the big city. And inside is a photograph of a woman who passed away not long after Kikuo moved to Tokyo. The first love he has never been able to forget. In that quiet moment, Kikuo thanks Philip for bringing him back to this place, allowing him to revisit the most precious memories of his youth before his illness completely erases them. Just as they are about to head back, Philip receives a phone call from Shinji. On the other end, Shinji is furious. Masami has reported Philip's actions as a kidnapping. Philip fires back by bringing up the abuse Aiko has suffered during her work. But before the argument can go any further, the worst thing happens. Kikuo suddenly collapses and loses consciousness. After this incident, Philip is arrested by the police. This sparks a conflict between Aiko and Shinji, as Shinji tries to distance himself from the case. In response, Aiko goes back to work one last time, once again pretending to be a man's mistress. This time, however, she has had enough. In front of the client's wife, Aiko exposes the entire scheme. That same night, she resigns from rental family. Hearing this, Shinji believes his business is finished and returns home. But it becomes clear that his life has been built on lies as well. His wife and child are not his real family. They are talents from rental family paid to pretend. The next day, Aiko and Kota take a huge risk by visiting Kikuo's house, posing as lawyers involved in the kidnapping case. Their goal is to speak with Kikuo and persuade Masami to drop the charges against Philip. Before they can succeed, a police detective arrives at the house. Their cover seems doomed, and it looks like they will share Philip's fate. But when the detective steps inside, it is revealed to be Shinji himself. He has secretly been working to free Philip. Together, they manage to smooth everything over, and thanks to their efforts, Philip regains his freedom. Afterward, Philip visits Aiko to thank her. It is here that the true reason behind his reckless decision is revealed. 2 years earlier, Philip missed his own father's funeral, choosing to stay in Japan instead. That choice has haunted him ever since. Seeing Kikuo reminded Philip of his late father, and he could not bear to repeat the same regret, even if it meant being accused of kidnapping. Not long after, Philip receives the news that Kikuo has passed away. He goes to the funeral home to pay his final respects. In that moment, Philip feels a deep sense of loss, as if he has lost a father of his own. Quietly, he places the precious photograph that Kikuo once buried in his time capsule alongside him. Outside, Shinji is waiting for Philip. In the end, they apologize to each other for everything that has happened. Aiko and Kota are there too, waiting nearby. The next day, Philip visits the temple he once came to with Kikuo. His curiosity is finally answered when he sees what lies inside. There is only a mirror. Looking at it feels like a gentle reminder from Kikuo, urging Philip to reflect on himself and remember who he truly is. In the end, rental family continues operating. This time, however, things are different. Shinji decides to shut down the apology service, even though it was the most popular one. He does this to protect Aiko's safety and dignity as his employee. After Rental Family reopens, Philip unexpectedly receives a new request. Hitomi reaches out to him once again. This time, it is not for him to play Mia's father. It begins after Mia refuses to speak to her mother for days. Eventually, mother and daughter make peace. Wanting to ease her child's sadness, Hitomi decides to reunite Mia with Philip. The next day, Philip meets Mia. He does not come as her father, but simply as himself. He apologizes for all the lies that he and her mother once told, explaining that everything was done for Mia's sake. Even though Hitomi admits her approach was wrong, they choose to start over. This time, they introduce themselves honestly, just as who they truly are. So the moral of the story is sometimes the roles we fake for money teach us the love we were too late to give in real life. And the deepest pain comes from realizing what mattered only after it is gone.